Good day, my name is Katerine Joy N Leonardo from BSED English 3B. So the first question, how does Dr. Jomino Abad differentiate communication and expression? So in communication, it talks how a person communicate and deliver what it thinks and feels right up to the other speakers right up to this very moment. While the expression shape its own awareness and understanding regarding if that part or if a particular part has happened in reality or has only been imagined. Why do English teachers want to privilege Filipino literature brought from English as models of good writing? Why? Because it includes all the different experiences in regards of our own history. And that what shape us, our own individual feelings as a Filipino people. Define literature. So when we say literature, it refers to any collection of books or any collection of written works that indeed contribute to the development of our society. Since it gives us the opportunity to learn, explore, and gather different kind of information about what's happening in the world. It may be past, present, or in the future. In addition, literature cannot only be transmitted through written or writing. It can also be transmitted orally, like for instance, performances like singing, oral narratives, drama, and many more. Number 4, give the importance of literature in a 21st century world. So in this 21st century world, most of us are not really into reading books anymore due to the expansion of technologies. People, especially students, tend to spend most of their time playing online games or video games or visiting their social media accounts for fun rather than spending their time reading books without knowing the importance of literature up to this very moment. So what makes literature important? So first is it gives us knowledge. So literature gives us an opportunity to learn a lot of knowledge from all the works of all the knowledgeable people, and because they give us a lot of very important information regarding the past, the different works, and the different information regarding the happenings that will keep us interested and will keep our minds or will make our minds open regarding the topic that they shared to us. Next, it will help us flourish in society. So learning literature in the 21st century will help each one of us, especially the children, to flourish in the society. Why? Because 21st century literature is all about all the skills that we need to have and apply, and also it also talks about technologies or how technologies work. It allows us readers to explore. So when you read books, it allows us to explore the people's different feelings, culture, tradition, and also their history. So lastly, improves people creative and imaginative minds. So when we read, we encounter different genres and themes of stories. So as we read, we improve our own creative and imaginative minds, especially when we read fiction stories. So literature also have functions in the society. So what are they? So first is to educate the people, to express people's culture, to entertain people, to influence people in the society, to develop language, to liberate people, and lastly is to criticize the society. So without further ado, we're going to discuss all of these one by one. So first is to educate people. So it educates or teaches the readers all the existing political, social, and economic systems. Second, to express people's culture. So it expresses the different culture and tradition that each of one us have and how it differentiates from other people's culture or from one another. Third is to entertain people. So literature are made to give relevant information and also to entertain the readers through giving or providing them various kind of stories, and for all the readers to explore more stories depending on what they want to read or depending on what kind of genres they are into. So fourth is to influence people in the society. So through reading, readers can apply all the learnings that they've learned, and as people, we can also capture the different ideas and apply it on our daily lives. So fifth, to develop language. So literature help us develop our listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills if we're spending most of our time on it. Also, other than that skills, since we are encountering different genres of books, we can also improve, or it can also improve our vocabulary and our way of using the proper way of grammar. So six is to liberate people. So with the help of literature, it helps us or make us aware and awake regarding the bad and good treatments that we have in our society. Seventh, which is the last function, is to criticize the society. So with literature, it helps us to become fully aware regarding the injustices and the bad doings and all the evils behind why it is happening in our society. So literature has two main divisions, and these two main divisions has their own subdivisions and literary genre. So the first one is the prose. So prose is the normal way of language that we use in writing and speaking to transmit opinions, ideas, and information to other people. The first subdivision is fiction. So when we say fiction, it is writings that came only from the author's imagination, and it is to entertain readers. So fiction has different genre. So the first one is the legend. So when we say legend, it is a prose fiction that tells about the origin of something. So it is not always true. So the next one is a short story. It is a prose fiction that can typically, or the readers can typically read it in one sitting. So it has plot, characters, settings, and with a moral lessons. Next is the novel. So when we say novel, it is a long prose narrative that contains different chapters, or it is divided into different chapters. Next is the novella, or also known as the novelette. It is longer compared to shorter compared to novel, but it is longer compared to the short story. Next is fable. So it is a prose fiction wherein characters are animals, and the animals can talk to each other. And every fable stories consists moral lessons. So lastly is the parable. Parable is a short and simple story, and it also has moral lessons that we can apply in our lives. Second subdivision of prose is called non-fiction. So when we say non-fiction, it talks only about factual or real event. Under the non-fiction, we have the biography. So biography, it's all about the information regarding someone else's life, and it is written by other people and not by itself. So history, it contains events that truly happened in the past. News, it contains records of events that happens every single day. Diary, it is a personal record of someone which it contains the events that he or she experienced on his everyday life. Next is the anecdote. It is a certain story that contains information about a particular person and its particular life. So the last one is the essay. So it is a kind of writing wherein we can put our personal opinions and ideas regarding a particular topic. The second main division of literature is what we call poetry. So when we say poetry, it expresses its works with the use of measurement, rhythm, sounds, and imaginative language. So it has three different subdivisions. So the first one is the narrative poetry. So narrative poetry is a form of poetry wherein it tells or narrates a story. The epic. So when we say epic, it's all about the superheroes and their heroic actions. Second is the ballad. So it is all about the incidents on someone else's life, and it is intended to be sung. So the third one is the metrical tale. So it is a poem that has measured numbers of syllables. Subdivision of poetry is called the lyric poetry. So lyric poetry are the stories that are intended to be sung, and it is a must to be accompanied with instruments. So under lyric poetry, we have the song. So stories is a must to put into a song. So the second one is the ode. So it is a poem about the sudden feeling and emotion of the authors that has being met. The next one is elegy. So elegy is all about poems about mourning for death. So the next one is sonnet. So it is about love, and it has 14 syllables, and it is usually has its own rhymes. So the last one is the idyll. So it's a poem celebrating a particular scenery, view, or landscape in a rural country. Third subdivision of poetry is called the dramatic poetry. So dramatic poetry is intended to be performed on stage by the actor and actresses. So under the dramatic poetry, we have the tragedy. So tragedy is a dramatic poetry wherein the main characters or the heroes had a bad ending. So the second one is comedy. So it is where the heroes overcome all the trials and achieve triumph. So the third one is the melodrama. So it is a combination of comedy and tragedy, but it is usually ends with a happy ending. So farce is next. So it is a poetry that always ends with a happy ending, and it brings laughter to the audience. So the second one is social play. So it discusses all the social problems and social issues. The last question is differentiate capital L literature with a small l literature. So literature with a capital L are all masterpieces, and it has long merits or long values, while the literature with the small letter L are pieces that only intention is to entertain people, and it is being used every single day. And that's what it is all about. Thank you.